Don't blink, because in a heartbeat, this man can change the game. Don't doubt, because when the world said you're too small, he answered with greatness. And don't forget his name. Cheslin Kolbe. The boy who was told he couldn't until he showed the world he could. Before we dive in, let me ask you something personal. Has anyone ever told you that you'll never make it? That you're too small, too weak, or just not enough? Hold on to that thought, because Kolbe's story will prove them wrong. Cheslin Kolbe was born in Kraaifontein, Cape Town, a community filled with challenges, but also filled with dreams. For many kids, the streets could pull you in the wrong direction. But for Kolbe, the rugby field was his escape. He didn't have the best boots. He didn't have fancy training equipment. But what he had was heart, and a dream so loud that nothing could silence it. Let me pause here. Do you remember the first place where your dream began? Was it in a small classroom? On a playground? Or maybe, like Kolbe, on a dusty field where only your heart knew your future? Share your beginning in the comments. It might inspire someone else watching. At just 1.7 meters tall, Kolbe faced constant rejection. Coaches said, "You'll be crushed." Opponents laughed. Scouts overlooked him. But every insult became fuel. Instead of fighting with size, he mastered speed. Instead of overpowering, he outsmarted. Instead of giving up, he doubled down. One sidestep at a time, Cheslin Kolbe rewrote the meaning of rugby. Think about it. What's the one thing people tell you is your weakness? Could it actually be your greatest strength? For Kolbe, being small forced him to become unstoppable. What about you? Behind Cheslin Kolbe's story is something far greater: the sacrifices of family. His parents worked long hours, often putting his needs before their own. Later in life, his wife Layla stood by him, not just as a partner but as a source of courage. Together, they built a family where love was the center, not fame. For Kolbe, every try he scored was a thank you or a silent message to the people who carried him when the world doubted. Who's been your rock? Your number one supporter? If you could thank them right now, what would you say? Type it below. Someone out there might need to hear your gratitude. Kolbe's big break came when he joined Western Province and the Stormers. Suddenly, stadiums filled with fans who stood in disbelief at his speed. Defenders couldn't touch him because by the time they blinked, he was gone. His courage caught Europe's attention. In Toulouse, France, he became not just a star, but a nightmare for defenses. Each game was a highlight reel, each step a reminder: the small boy from Kraaifontein is now conquering the world. If you could play for any team in the world, which one would it be? Your local club? Your national team? Or maybe a legendary side like Toulouse or the Springboks? Drop your dream team below. 2018, a phone call changed everything. The Springboks wanted Cheslin Kolbe. Imagine that moment, the pride of wearing green and gold, representing not just yourself, but your entire nation. A dream once thought impossible, now reality. Now picture this: if your country called you today and said, "We need you," what would you feel? Would you cry? Smile? Or just kneel and thank God? Let us know below. Japan, 2019. The Rugby World Cup. South Africa's journey was filled with struggle and grit. But in the final, against England, destiny awaited. And then it happened. Kolbe got the ball. He sidestepped once, twice, and accelerated past giants. The crowd roared. The try line opened. And Kolbe delivered one of the most iconic moments in rugby history. South Africa lifted the Webb Ellis Cup. Kolbe lifted an entire nation's spirit. Where were you when Kolbe scored that try? Do you remember the goosebumps, the joy, the pride? Share it below. Because for South Africans, that wasn't just sport, it was healing. But Kolbe is more than rugby. He's a man of faith. A devoted husband. A loving father. Away from the spotlight, he spends time with family, gives back to communities, and inspires the next generation of dreamers. His humility reminds us, greatness isn't about the trophies you lift, but the lives you touch. Which quality do you admire most in an athlete? Their talent, their humility, or their story? Type your answer, because it's often the story that stays in our hearts the longest. From Kraaifontein's dusty fields to the world's brightest stadiums, Kolbe's life teaches us that heart is stronger than height. That belief is louder than doubt. That family is greater than fame. And that every dream is built one step at a time. Which of these 4 lessons hits you the hardest? Type 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the comments. I'll be watching to see what inspires you most. Cheslin Kolbe's story will be told for generations. Not because of his size, but because of his spirit. He proved that greatness has no height requirement. He showed us that when the world says no, faith and persistence say yes. And he reminded us that dreams are not built in comfort, but in courage. So I'll leave you with this: what's your Kolbe moment? That dream you're chasing, even when people say it's impossible. Share it. Claim it. Because your story might be the next one to inspire the world. This is Happy Rise G World, where stories inspire, where dreams come alive, and where we remind you, never stop believing.